Uh, CM Punk, his AEW return is imminent. Um, so this has been brewing for a while. So essentially, CM Punk has been wanting back in. He's got his minions out there, the FTR. They are basically Dax on his podcast has been trying to speak it to existence. People are taking to social media. Well, they've let it known that not only does CM Punk want to come back, it looks like Tony Khan wants CM Punk back. The Elite, who knows where they stand, but FTR and CM Punk are trying to work it to where they can get a match with the Elite, likely for Wembley Stadium. That's what they're aiming for. But the more they talk about it in public, the less likely it's actually going to happen, according to Dave Meltzer. But Fightful Select had a report out today that the plans are in place for CM Punk to return. It looks like it's going to be in June in Chicago at the Wintrust Arena. JD will likely be in the house there. I heard this story like a week ago, and I also heard that the announcement's probably going to be coming in May. I don't know what the significance of that is, but that's what I heard, was that there was going to be a May announcement. That was not in the Fightful Select report. That is Mike Select, I guess. He's going to be returning June 21st in Chicago. Announcement coming in May, and that the new Saturday show that we all thought was going to be in prime time, although there was never an announcement. This is all just rumor that we all thought was going to be at 6:05 or 6 o'clock on TBS. That was more of a, hey, look, they're doing a Saturday show. It would make sense to do it at this time. Looks like that one actually might be another prime time show. And there's some speculation out there that a roster split would be involved and that CM Punk would be leading the charge on Saturday nights. That way he doesn't have to work with the Elite, because the Elite want nothing to do with the guy. So you'd have the Team Punk on Saturday and Team Elite on Wednesday. That's a lot of stuff going on. JD, what say you?
Hell yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, there's so many people that are upset about this, that like apparently CM Punk wounded all of fandom. Yeah, it's hilarious to me. I'll be honest with you. AEW programming is much better with CM Punk. Like, the revisionists can go back and say whatever they want, but every program he did was great. The one with Darby, great. It was the return. It was going to be great no matter what. The Eddie Kingston one, great. The MJF one, phenomenal. My favorite match probably of 2022 was that chain match, right? The Hangman thing was weird. We found out why, and then he got hurt, and then it was kind of chaos at that point. But I'll be honest, AEW TV is much better with him on, and you are kind of in a wrestling war still. WWE's hotter. Maybe they are cooling off a bit. There seems to be the tide might have shifted just a tad as far as perception goes. You know, it takes a while for business trends to kind of catch up with kind of what the fan zeitgeist is at. So maybe they cool a little bit, you know, a little bit of a controversial WrestleMania finish. I don't know. I'm excited no matter what they do. If they wind up working together in Wembley Stadium, which will be the biggest show in AEW history, like, there's tons of speculation about how many seats they're going to sell. I think having CM Punk at the top of the card is a great move, right? If this Saturday show comes about and they're able to do a true brand split, like WWE has never really been able to do, right? They always kind of flirt with the idea, but they never really commit to it. Like, if everyone hates each other, well, what the hell? Great. It's good for me. It's good for talent too. Gives them more of a chance to get work. They have a lot of guys under contract. A hard brand split gives more people opportunities. Is CM Punk a ticking time bomb that eventually will go off? Probably. Who's going to be entertained by this in the long run? Me. I will be entertained. And what's important? I will be entertained. That's all I care about. I don't care. I don't give a shit how harmonious the AEW locker room is. That means nothing to me. I don't care. I want entertaining television.
Right? For everybody out there that doesn't like this backstage drama and the leaking to the press and all the tweets and the podcast, you're full of crap. This is awesome. This whole thing has been awesome. Brawl Out was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in pro wrestling, and it was real, right? And then all the drama that we've gotten since then, CM Punk's tweets from or Instagram posts from a few weeks ago, Dave Meltzer just randomly talking on his message board about top secret stuff, thinking that nobody else could see it.
And pooching the whole thing, it turns out.
Yeah. Like, everything about this is awesome. I love all of it. It gives us stuff to talk about. And you know what? You know, so someone would say, is CM Punk worth the hassle? Well,
yes.
Look, well, look, will they ever get the return on investment? I don't know. I don't know how much they're paying the guy, how much money he brings in, but I can tell you who does think he's worth it. Tony
Tony
Khan.
Khan.
And here's the thing about billionaires that people need to understand. They're very full of themselves. A lot of them, even if they didn't be a billionaire from the ground up, like Tony Khan, like he had very much had dad's help to get to for his success, right? But he very likely thinks that he can make just about anything work. And he's thinking he can make this stuff with CM Punk work because he knows that there's a bunch of money waiting for him. And the thing that billionaires love more than their ego is money, right? And Tony Khan, driven by ego, driven by money, he definitely wants to bring CM Punk back in the fold. And he's going to do that at the risk of losing, you know, they're who I think are their pillars. This other Darby and Sammy and Jungle. They're not the pillars. It's the elite, right? It's Kenny Omega and it's the Young Bucks. Those guys are the freaking pillars, not these other kids. But at the risk of possibly losing them, which and we'll get into the Vince stuff later, which I think it's less likely that they would now that Vince is back. But, at the risk of possibly losing them, he's willing to bring CM Punk back. He's willing to alienate the locker room a little bit in hopes that he has the skill set and the leadership skills to be able to kumbaya this whole thing together and make everybody a bunch of money.
Here's the thing. You're going to work with people you don't like. Do it every time. I work in high school. Most people can't stand them. Like, that's life. I'm sure you don't like everyone on the base. We've talked about this before. This is what leaders do. Tony Khan does have a lot of money. He does do a lot of work. He works really hard. But one thing that has been lacking is his leadership skills. And this is a chance for him to improve because every day is an opportunity to get better at something, right? He needs to get better at his leadership skills. So let's see where he's at. Like, I firmly believe that Tony Khan, his lack of leadership is what really started all this thing, right? Him not really addressing the Colt Cabana thing, right? Was Colt let go? Was he moved to Ring of Honor? Does Colt Cabana matter in the year 2023? No. Like, really started all of this stuff from him letting Hangman Page be passive aggressive on national television, which is fine, by the way. If Hangman Page is passive aggressive and a jerk on TV, but only the people who are involved in the product know he's being a jerk, that's perfectly fine because everything the Elite does is sunshine and kitties. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like FTR is a bad guy. Like, they're bad guys because they talk to Jim Cornette. But Hangman Page and the Young Bucks, they're perfect human beings. Oh, they're friends with Marty Scurll. Oops. Oh, yep, they're friends with Joey Ryan. Oh, wait. That doesn't count because, everything the Elite does is magic. Right? All I'm asking for is some balance here. And these people are they're ridiculous. Like,
you know who Hangman is? You know who he is? He's Gavrilo Princip. You know who that is?
I know the name, but Mike, I need you to educate me.
Okay. So he was a Serbian, right? He was a Serbian in the lead up to World War I, and the Archduke of Austria-Hungary, Franz Ferdinand, went down there for a meeting, right? And he didn't have good enough security. He actually evaded one assassination attempt, and then he took a back road, got stuck somewhere, and then here comes Gavrilo Princip, an 18-year-old, 18, 19, something like that, with a gun, and kills the Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife in cold blood in the streets. And what happened was that set off the chain of events that created World War I. Now, before that, it was a powder keg ready to blow, right? You had the Germans looking to expand. You had Austria-Hungary. They were an oppressive regime over Serbia. Serbia had the backing of Russia. And so once that all started, once Austria-Hungary went down into Serbia, Russia got involved, and Germany got involved, and France got involved, and then England gets involved, and the next thing you know, the U.S. gets involved a little bit later, after some arm twisting of Woodrow Wilson and some terrorism that happened from Germany, a lot of stuff. But it all started with that one moment where I think that if you were to ask Princip if he knew that he was about to start World War I, he probably wouldn't. He just didn't like the guy that was an oppressive regime coming into his territory and decided to kill the guy. I don't think he would have thought that this would have caused all this. Really, this all stems. Tony Khan's most at fault, but really it stemmed from Adam Page being essentially Gavrilo Princip and the war of AEW brawl out. That's where it all started. Now, the reason why he gets a pass is because CM Punk lost the moral high ground with his shenanigans that became very public, right? Anytime you lose the moral high ground, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong anymore. You're automatically wrong. And that's what happened with CM Punk. So nobody remembers that Adam Page really started all this. It's because CM Punk very publicly lost the moral high ground. So everybody says he's the bad guy, you know.
That's such a fascinating diatribe you just went on, and I like your analogy. It works a lot. What I like about that too is like you can everyone pinpoints the assassination of Franz Ferdinand at the beginning of World War I, but realistically, you got this cultural shift between imperialism and capitalism driving this, right? This is what really caused World War I. But like you said, that's the match in the powder keg, and that's exactly what it's like. We were going to have this in AEW eventually. It was too kumbaya, too everybody loves everybody, and that's just not real life. That's not how normal people are, especially in the wrestling business.